Hello, welcome, namaste to all my viewers. And I'm pleased that again I'm back with an interesting episode, and this episode is going to blast. Because if I tell you kind of answer I have received, oh my god, that's amazing. He is the youngest trader, and with the kind of experience and with the kind of answer that I have received, I am really impressed. But yes, we haven't talked about any technical prospect or the strategies. So if you are running behind the strategy, so kindly stop it and go for the other channels. But yes, if you wanted to know the real aspect of trading, what actually a trader thinks, a professional trader thinks when any situation comes, so this channel and this video is for you. So stay tuned and watch till then. Thank you. Okay, so from the GTD team, I really welcome you that you have accepted our invitation and finally you are there in our show. So welcome again.
Thank you so much for
My
thank you so
pleasure.
much for having me, and it's pleasure to be on the show.
Wow, that's great. That's wonderful. So, Saketh, before we begin, I just wanted to let you know, the platform is very easy. There are some questions. There are no technical questions. There are no, like portfolio questions. These are the normal questions related to psychology, mindset, discipline, and all these are the questions which I, especially designed for you. Basically, you are a Banknifty player, so I designed question in such a way so that I myself, the people, and everybody, they will love to hear you out. So, are you ready?
Yes, sir. Ready for it.
Great, wonderful. So, before we begin, I just wanted to know one thing. See, you started as a trader, then you become the mentor, and now you are the panelist. So, you have already given, so in a lot of platform your interviews, but I want you to please give us the glimpse from trader till the last position.
Actually, to be honest, it's a pretty nice journey, I would say. Because like when we started trading or when we started putting out YouTube videos, we never really thought it can actually impact so many people. So when we initially start, so the thing is, I was like well before we started YouTube, it was almost 7 8 years. Actually, not 7 8 years, maybe around 6 years before we started YouTube, I was already trading. So then we started YouTube, and obviously this progression can only happen with two things. So one, if you are consistent and profitable, so then people want to learn from you. That is the first most important thing. And second one, whatever we are delivering in terms of content, that must be valuable for the people. If they are giving out their time to listen to us, that means it should bring some good value to them.
Hmm.
So these two were the main focus. So the thing is, even when I started my trading journey for initially 4.5 5 years, even I was not profitable. So it's been almost around 10 years. In 2000, around 2013, I started. So the thing is, in this 10 years of journey, first 4.5 5 years, when I myself am not profitable, so I can't obviously go and teach anybody how to make profit from the market, right? So then once we started making slow and consistent profits. So that's when I thought, okay, maybe I can start putting out some videos on YouTube on how to trade and how we are trading and all of this. So luckily, it found the right people. It was able to create some impact to people. So then from there on, like obviously, Optionables as a brand also started growing. So a lot of people started approaching. So this is a glimpse of the journey of how it all.
Wow, that's amazing. So, you haven't thought of you will receive a lot of love from the people and finally you are reached to the panelist position. Wow, that's really amazing. So, based on, okay, first of all, tell me how old are you?
So right now I'm around 24 years old.
Wow,
And
that's amazing. So, I think you are the youngest trader, right? with this much of.
Not really. Actually, the thing is, now if you see so many people who approach me also, right? They'll be 16, 17, and they will have so much more clarity regards to what they're doing. So one thing I would say is trading is might not be the great field to enter as a child. So you don't call anybody a prodigy in trading, because it's too much stress on the mind. So to be honest, at the age what I entered, I would maybe if somebody comes and asks me, I will tell go enjoy life. Don't come to trading in
True.
trading at this point. Yeah, but like it's amazing to see how so many young kids today have a lot of clarity on what they're doing, and they are so much well ahead that they sit and code stuff and everything is automated, and we are still sitting here and hitting the orders manually.
Great, great, great. So, well, let's begin with the questions. But before we begin, let's start. Okay, so there are multiple questions. Let me ask one by one to you. Okay, okay. So the first question to you: what inspired you to start trading at a young age, and how did your father influence your decision to enter the industry?
So what influenced me, to be honest, was numbers. So it just looked, I am always fascinated by numbers, and when I got to see stock market for the first time, it definitely fascinated me. My idea was not to really make profit or anything of that sort. I didn't enter with that mindset to the market. So the thing is, like how my father influenced me was he was investor in the market, and he used to often track the CNBC, Now, and all. He used to watch to see what is happening to markets. So then that's how even I actually got to see market. So then I asked him, okay, what is this? So then he told like these are all the whatever things are there in India, the companies which are there in India will be trading. So people they buy and sell. So when the price goes low, they buy. When the price goes high, they sell. So then obviously, that time I didn't have any idea. I was into gaming, so I asked him, okay, is Xbox and PlayStation also there on stock market? So when the price goes down, I can actually enter. But right, so this is how I started, and like later, then I started looking into companies. I
Hmm.
wanted to be investor, like started as an investor thinking, okay, I'll invest for long term, I'll do that this. Then suddenly trading again more of my interest than continuing with investing. So
Wow,
then
that's
slowly
great. Wonderful. Wonderful to hear that. So, basically, it's been almost 1 decade for you, right? Almost 10 years. So I just wanted to know before I go to the another question, I wanted to jump in with this question. Okay, so when you what is best, or what do you think, what is most important as a trader? Strategy or the mindset, psychology, discipline? Which
so
comes
I would
first
go
on
with the
priority?
yeah. So I would definitely go with the latter, that is strategy and mindset. I feel that any trader who is trading can trade the best if he creates a zone for himself. So that means instead of let's say trying out every day a new strategy, it is good that if he sticks to few strategy and he can understand the intricacies of the strategies. Like so, for example, if I do a short straddle, for example, today, so back of my mind, I will have an idea with regards to okay, what can be my expected profit or loss if there's a gap up, how can I manage that. So these things you can become more and more confident when you repeat the same strategy over and over again every time. If I keep changing the strategy, uh, so then it is you more or less won't be expert in anything, right? So what I would say is it is definitely the mindset, and the thing is you have to get comfortable with one thing, because if I am doing money with short strategy, if one more person is doing money with long strategy, one more person is doing some other strategy, that clearly shows that it's not always that only one thing works. The n number of things work, but they are able to do money with only that strategy because they have created a zone around themselves with that particular strategy.
Great, great. Well, first time I have received this kind of answer, and really I'm impressed. So, okay, let's continue. Okay. So, my next question to you: what is your strength and weakness in the trading?
At least based on my past records, if you actually see from the last 3 years, I have extreme outperformance during bull market. So maybe I don't know why. One of the reasons might be the like VIX is usually lower in the bull markets. So, but my performance really goes for a toss in bear market. So maybe the kind of volatility becomes hard to handle. So the thing is, if you actually look at from April 2021 till September 2021, the performance was really great. Then October, November, December, January, February, the performance was not so great. Then again, starting from March till end of January, so the performance was again really great. And then again, we are starting to fall from a high of 19,000. So again, so the my strength, what I would say is my trading performance somehow during the bull markets is way better than my trading performance in the bear.
That's amazing. Amazing. Okay, let's continue with the next question. Okay, so how have your trading strategies evolved over the past decade and what factors have driven these changes?
A lot of them actually, like starting from when I started trading stocks to how I came into option buying, then how I went into penny option selling using leverage. So once the leverage started to come out, we started doing straddles and strangles. So that way, with time, with capital, a lot of things have changed. So not just with time and capital, mostly because most of the things haven't worked. So you can say more or less like how everybody would have done tried out. So I would have tried like tens and hundreds of option strategies, tens and hundreds of indicators. So like you try that, something works, something doesn't, then you keep shifting until you find what suits you or what fits your mindset. Because some traders might be risk averse, some traders might be very aggressive, whatever it might be. There will be certain kind of trading which suits you the best. So like I think for us it was mostly non-directional. uh, Eventually, over course of 10 years, to be precise, uh, easily we have tried over. To on a broader spectrum, easily we have tried over 6, 7 things, starting from buying, equity trading, then option buying, then like I'm not even then trading futures, right? And then I'm not even coming to indicators. If I go there, like you can see the full array of so then with us doing spreads and then penny option selling, as I already mentioned. So all
Hmm.
from everywhere there to back to straddles and strangles. So
Wow,
around
wow, wow.
5, 6 things.
Wow, that's good. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Okay, so like I have like okay, that's great, wonderful. So like you have mentioned the word leverage. Okay,
Right,
so
right,
when like in past when it was allowed, everybody used they were using the leverage and everybody loved it. Okay, because we were getting
right,
20x 40x, but now there
right.
is no leverage. So are you happy with that?
To be honest, yes, because the thing is, leverage is really good, right? But the thing is, until leverage went, we never real. So obviously, the returns have fallen drastically. No second thought about it, right? So there's a huge drop in returns because I will tell you, in 2020-21, with the capital of hardly just around 60-70 lakh, we had made a because 2020 December the leverage went, right, so it became 4x in December. Then by 2021 April, almost everything went. So with hardly around 70 lakh, just by using leverage, we were able to make around 1.8 CR as profit with 70 lakh. But the contrary to that is in 2021, with around 3.5, 4 crore capital, we were able to make 1.3 or
Hmm.
1.4 crore. So you can see the amount of dip in the
Yes.
returns. So, but the thing is, beyond like it definitely matters when the capital size is small. But as the capital size grows big, the chances of backfiring anytime can
Hmm.
be higher than
True. True.
actually favoring you, because at that point you can't, let's say if I use leverage on say 2 or 3 lakh and I lose that, I can bring back 2 or 3 lakh.
True.
So at
True.
one point I can't bring back my entire capital.
True. True. So I just wanted to I can say leverage is good for pro traders, but what about the newbie traders if they were using the
So
in that
yeah,
context?
actually the thing. Got it. Okay, see, actually, to be honest, so I used most of the leverage when I was newbie to option selling, but I used it in a, I would say, fairly good way. So I will also tell you how I used leverage, right? So that time trading was so easy. We only used to trade 1 day a week, that is expiry day, right? No other day. And we used to get almost around 2.5-3% each
Hmm.
expiry. So
Hmm.
why? Because we simply had 30x leverage. So
Yes.
if my capital was 50 lakh, I had 15 crores, right? And if I make even 0.5% on 15 crores, right? So that is almost around 75,000.
Yeah.
No, much more than, yeah, much more. Not, no, forget about point 0.5. If I make 0.05, that is 75,000, which is 1.5%. If I make
Hmm.
0.1%, that is 1.5 lakh, which is 3% of the capital. So I'll tell you how we used leverage. Very simply, we used to sell an option trading at 2 rupees or 3 rupees for our OTM option. So the thing is, we only required around one and a half, sorry, 2,500 to sell one lot of option, right? So Nifty or Banknifty. So just sell 3 rupee option for 2,500 or 2,000 to 2,500 rupee, just 3 rupees, right? So keep a stop loss at 6 rupees. A very simple trade. You sell at 3 rupees, keep a stop loss at 6 rupees. So 80% of the times, this 3 rupees is going to go down to zero.
Yes.
Remaining 20% of the times, the 3 rupees is going to go to 6 rupees. So very simple. You have 1:1 risk to reward. Either you make 3 rupees or lose 3 rupees. And on the other hand, you get one with 1:1 risk to reward, 80% probability.
Hmm.
So we essentially didn't have to sell options on both sides. Like if the market is trending upside, we could simply sell a 3 rupee put
Yes.
option, keep a stop loss
Hmm.
at 6.
Hmm. That's great. That's great. So I would say that at your early age, you have opted for the right strategy. That's why you become the successful trader.
So yeah, like I would factor most of whatever we were able to generate because of luck, I would say.
Yeah.
Because if I had entered market 2 years later, if the entire progression had happened 2 years later, maybe we
Hmm.
couldn't have grown the same way
Yes. Yes.
because there
That's true.
was leverage. Yeah,
That's true. That's
we
true.
started the selling by 17, right? By 20, the leverage was out. So even if we
Hmm.
had started little later, we wouldn't be in the same place.
That's good. That's wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. Okay. So let's continue with the next question. So recently we had a news that it's going to increase the time to 11:30. Okay.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to know. Okay. So is it good for a trader or is it bad for a trader?
See, there are two aspects to that. For a trader, considering a trader's life, right? So if you consider only trading, it might be good. But if you consider life as a whole, it is very bad. So one, you will completely lose balance in life because if you imagine they make it till 11:30, absolutely there is no work which you can do. Like your
Hmm.
entire this thing is occupied, nothing can be done. Everything is fixed, and overall balance of the life is totally lost if you look at as a trader's life. But when you look at it from the perspective of trading alone, right? So then it is actually a positive considering the more amount you trade. So there are people whom I was discussing. So if they extend till 11:30, most likely they will reduce the margins for the positions because so much risk is already
Yes.
gone. So almost around extra 6 hours risk is gone. So on top of that, let's say any event is happening, for example, in US. Right
Hmm.
now, something is happening, you are unable to react to your position.
Yes.
So
Yes.
in those cases and all, it is going to act as a boon. But
Hmm.
as a trader's life, it is going to be definitely a bane.
So the that in that context, you don't support long hours, right? Even I don't support. I'm totally against of it.
Yeah, yeah, same. Even I don't definitely support long hours because it's not that there are a lack of opportunities in the current market.
Yes,
I
yes,
feel that
yes.
you are able to use the opportunities now because you are in the right
Yes.
frame of mind. You can do other things, you can come back.
Yes,
If I
yes,
sit in
yes.
the front of the screen from 9 to 11,
Hmm.
right, I don't think I will be able to. Just give me a second. I'm so sorry for that.
No, no, that's
I
fine. That's
just
fine.
got
That's
a
fine.
call. And, okay.
That's fine. That's fine. So can we continue?
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure.
Wow, that's good. That's wonderful. So let's move into next question. Can you discuss a time when you faced a significant loss in your trading and how you responded to the experience?
So the thing is, okay, I have blown up my account several times in the beginning. So, but the capital was small, so I will not even talk about those days, right? So, because it's a general progression which people will bring in 20,000, the 20,000. So I will mostly speak about the time when the capital was significant and I have lost significant portion of my capital in a single trade. So those two events were one with respect to the Nirmala Sitharaman candle, the famous candle. So when we had a straddle done over there, so there we ended up losing almost around 12% in a single day because
Hmm.
of poor risk management. This is
Yes.
in
Yes.
2009. So for us, selling was a very easy thing with leverage and all of that, but because it was working so well. But the thing is, when your risk management goes out of hand, you're going to definitely suffer. And
Hmm.
second one was during the COVID crash, because out of the 10 years what I have traded, I had never experienced a big market fall or market hitting lower circuits. All right. So, and in such cases, definitely what we are doing, that is straddles or strangles, are not the best things to do. So, it's a pretty common, well known fact that these are not the optimal or ideal things to do, right? Those two, so that time we had lost 18% of the capital in a single trade, 2020, around March, yes.
Okay, so you're talking about in a single day, 18%, right?
Single day 18% and single day
Oh.
12%.
So you hadn't put stop loss.
We okay. I will tell you the 2020 crash. It is so 2019. This Nirmala Sitharaman thing actually happened for a couple of reasons. So it was maybe like partly the execution error also which caused the loss, not just the view going wrong. So a lot of mess up happened. But I will tell you. So I would say what happened in 2020 was purely our fault, like our
Hmm.
mistake. So, because as I told you, we had never seen market go down 10%. So when was the last time? At least from the day I started trading in 2013,
Very rare.
market had, yeah, market has never hit 10% lower circuit.
Yes.
It was like an unheard event, right? So I think it was March, almost about to finish the year, financial year, maybe somewhere around March 2020, 23rd or 21st, somewhere around that, which was the expiry day. Again, we used to only trade expiry. So Banknifty was around 26 500 previous close, and it opened 3.5% gap down.
Hmm.
So it was
Oh.
around it was around 25 700. So, very simply, I could do is the trend is so bearish, everything is so negative. Very
Hmm.
simply, go and sell something like a 26,000 or
Yes.
27,000 call option. But 27,000 call option is only trading, sorry, 27,000 call option is only trading at 10 rupees, right? It doesn't look attractive. Whereas 24,000 put option is trading at 85 rupees. So that looks very attractive.
Hmm.
Right? So market is at 25 700 and market has already opened 3% gap down. So and 24,000 put option is trading at 80 rupees.
80.
Now the general thought to mind was, okay, markets have never gone down 10%. Even if
Yes.
it goes down 10%, I sat and calculated, okay, what will happen if market goes down 10? It is not hitting 24,000. So it was not
24,000.
hitting. It was hitting even at a 10% fall, it was hitting somewhere like 24
Hmm.
100 or something. I was like, okay, if market hits circuit, then they're going to stop trading at 10%. even then the option should actually expire at zero. So 80 rupees, why should I go with the 10 rupees option? I ended up shorting. So I was like, this was my calculation. Like it's a free money. Like there is no way I can be losing. So then what I didn't realize is the circuit only comes if Nifty hits 10% and not Bank Nifty. Right? So Bank Nifty started falling. So it came to 25,500. I was like, no issue. 25,000. I was like, no issue. 24,700, 24,500. Then, okay, at that point, I started to get scared. What if it doesn't stop at 24? So that, because with this mind that okay, it is definitely going to go down to zero, that
Yes.
there's no way it can this. So then I kept the position. It started falling, and then
Hmm.
suddenly at the time when I had marked the level, okay, it is not going to anyways go below 24,050 or whatever. It went below that. So that's when I actually started to get really scared.
Oh.
I'm like, how is it how is it possible? Then I went and the time was almost around 2 o'clock plus, and the market came to around 20, that level which I was uh,
Hmm.
right. So then I very quick and expiry date 2 o'clock. You can imagine. Right. So I quickly went and googled. Okay, what is the thing? Why when will the market hit lower circuit? So then I realized, okay, markets only hit lower circuit if Nifty hits. Market will only be halted if Nifty hits lower circuit,
Yes.
not the Bank Nifty. And Nifty was only down by 7.5%, and Bank Nifty had already hit 10% point, the market went on to fall another 500 points from the
Oh.
24,000 level. It almost came to 23,600 or something.
Oh
And
my God.
unfortunately, Nifty also didn't hit lower circuit. So this option, which I sold at 80, I had to cover it up at 480 and almost around 400, right? On an average, this thing, the highest point was 480.
Hmm.
But you can imagine with the use
Yes.
of leverage.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
the
Completely.
yeah, the numbers would have totally backfired against you, right? So this way, by this time that day we had a capital of around 60-65 lakh. We lost 13 lakh on the same day, almost around
Oh.
20% of the capital,
Oh.
18 to 20%.
Okay. So, well, really, I'm feeling bad now.
So I
Okay.
think these were the lessons which was
I
supposed
think
to come in.
yes,
Yeah,
yes. And nobody
because
can teach you these lessons. This can only comes from the
yeah.
experience, right?
Right. So from that day, we are very strict on position sizing. We
Mm,
are very strict on our risk management. So post that, I don't think we have never gone into such a loss ever in last 3 years, right?
mm. So, do you trade on specific events, or you have learned something from this event?
No, like we do trade. So there's nothing as okay. This event we would want to avoid, but like we would certainly avoid overnight positions if we are heading into events like
Hmm.
budget or anything.
Hmm.
But
Great.
we would definitely love trading intraday if we are good. So the most simple thing I could do on that day was simply go and short any call option. I didn't even have to stay on the put
Yes.
side with this
Yes.
expense.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Right. So the idea was this is 1,700 points away, but a 80 rupee call is 600,
Hmm.
700 points away. Right. So simply shorting any call option would have just like I didn't even have to make so much money in the first place. Even 20 rupee call option would have worked.
Yes. Very true. Very true. Wow, that's interesting and learning learning curve for everyone. Okay, that's great. So let's continue with our next question. How do you incorporate risk management techniques such as stop losses and position sizing into your trading strategies?
So one thing which we are very clear is so we don't specifically keep a stop loss for any position as such. So risk management can be done two ways. One, you are very strict with your stop losses and all of those, and second thing is you will have very low position, so that
Hmm.
even if you are little not okay, also the low positions is going to make sure that you are not going to go to huge swings in your impair. So I would prefer going with the thing of low positions because
Hmm.
sometimes like market might go, but it will still come back go against the view, but it
Yes.
might still come back. So
True.
I want to give that
It
space
can
to
take a
market.
V-shaped recovery, right?
Yeah, a V-shaped recovery, and many times I would have kept, if I kept this as stop loss, it will hit this and come
Will
down.
hit and it will go back. Yes.
Yeah. So those things, just to have some extra buffer over there, I would rather prefer going with
Mm.
low. So this is one way. And second way, you have to be out of the positions before you get emotionally involved. So what do I actually mean by this? So let's say you will be used to taking a certain amount as your loss. So for example, let's say a loss of 20,000, 30,000 might not impact you as much as a loss of 1 lakh, right? So
Mm.
just giving you an example. So in our case, for example, if you go today, so a swing of 3 4 lakh will not have the same impact as a swing of 10 20 lakh, right?
Yes, that's
So
true.
which is in a sense. So the thing is, if I do so 3 4 lakh, I am not extremely involved in the trade emotionally. So the what do you say, the sense of fear or greed or whatever
Mm.
hasn't been triggered at to the this thing. And we so no matter how good we are, end of the day we are all humans, and sometimes some point it can get triggered, right? Before it even reaches there, right? So before it even reaches a point where I start to think, should I cut now or should I wait for 2 minutes? Like, should I wait for some recovery to happen? So
Yeah.
that you will only reach that position once you are uncomfortable with your NTM. So at 3 lakh, I don't feel anything. I'll just cut it. Eyes closed, I'll cut it because I know one good trade, I'll get it back. But if
Mm.
it has gone beyond that, let's say it goes to 12 lakh. So now that sense starts to trigger, okay, should I cut it now or not? Should I wait for some recovery? So all that starts to trigger then, because you know that, okay, this loss what you have made is not possible to cover in 1 or 2 trades.
Mm.
You require a whole week to cover that trade. So that way, we make sure that we usually tend to cut the positions, before we even come to the zone of thinking, should I cut now or not?
Mm, that's wonderful, wonderful, great, great, good. Well, I am really impressed the way you are giving all the answers. Really, with this age, this much of experience, and these answers, well, truly, truly immense. I'm really impressed. Okay, so let's continue with the next question. What are some of the key psychological and behavioral biases that can impact trading performance, and how do you mitigate this risk?
So again, as I told you, anything that has to do with you being emotionally involved in the trade. So no matter what exactly I tell you with respect to these are the changes you have to do, it is very hard to do. I myself cannot do sometimes. Right? What I would say is, anyway, so if you are very risk averse, one, you stay out of the market, because if you come
Hmm.
here, you're just going to uh, you won't be able to make decision in the same mind, right? So if you're okay with respect to your risk cover, like if you're a little aggressive and if you're not so risk averse, then you can definitely come into market. But make sure that you're out of the trades before you can get emotionally or involved in the trade. So before the aspect of feed or greed kicks in, just make sure that you come out of the trade, because if you get into that zone, so neither will I know or neither will you know what trades you will be taking. So you can end up taking revenge trades. You can end up waiting for holding on to the losers for very long without accepting the loss. A lot of things might end up happening if you are not out of the position at the right time. So I would feel that the easiest fix to most of the emotional problems when it comes to trading is to get out at the right time before the loss becomes bigger.
Mm, well said. Well said. Great, 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 great. Well, Saketh, so it's really interesting and I'm getting motivated by listening to your answers. Well, it's really wonderful.
Thank you so much.
That's wonderful. So, okay, so I have another question for you, and very interesting question, and I wanted to hear the best answer from you. So the question is, how do you balance the need for short-term profitability with the long-term sustainability of your trading strategies?
Okay. So the thing is, when I actually think about this question, right? So what really matters, or what really comes to my mind, is for what exactly we are trading, right? So the thing is, let's say I am trading with an aim to make, let's say, somewhere around 30% a year, right? So when I say 30% a year, I can achieve it two ways. One, I can achieve 10% from investing. I can try to make 20% through trading. So overall, it's 30%. So now, if I am making this 20% through investing, through trading, right? So for this 20%, I should be seeing what is the amount of risk I will be taking on, right? So for example, to achieve this 20%, if I am taking a risk of 20%, it is not worth it, right? It is
Okay.
too much. But what I would say is, if I am able to achieve the same returns, let's say with maybe somewhere around 3-4%, if I'm able to make 20-25% with a 3-4% drawdown, then I'm in a fairly good place. So the second question comes whether I will be able to scale the same thing without affecting maybe the returns or my psychology.
Hmm.
So that is the second important thing. So if I am able to do 20% with 3-4% drawdown, I'm already at a fairly good place. So if I can scale it up into two, where I can achieve 40% with only 8% drawdown, something like that, then it is really good. But the question is, will my psychology be okay when I suddenly increase my quantity 2x?
Hmm.
So I would say there would be a point beyond which, let's say, how they say, the diminishing marginal returns. So it is not possible to, like, suddenly today you're trading with X, tomorrow you would start trading with 5x, day after tomorrow 10x. It is not possible, right?
Hmm.
You
That's
can't
true.
generate the same kind of returns, or you can't
Yes.
generate this. So there, I would say that there is a point which the person has to know where he can perform optimally, right? Which he is comfortable doing that. And then, if he wants to scale up, I would say that even today, why I'm coming to this point is, today I'm only comfortable trading with a 50 lakh account, right? So even though we are managing more than 50 lakh, so I have a base account of 50 lakh in which I punch orders, and it is going to get copied to other accounts, right? So let's say there's a 5 crore account, it is going to get copied 10 times to a 5 crore account. Why this is important is, manually I can't punch an order of 5,000 quantity straight to an account. Here, I only punch in 500 quantity or
Hmm.
300 quantity. So I don't feel, okay, I'm doing something big. But when it automatically goes as 5,000 quantity, and I
Yeah.
don't even open that account, right? So, but apart from technology, I would say, to be sustainable, and this thing, I would say that you should be in the right set. So, with
Hmm.
respect to what you're comfortable doing.
Wow, that's wonderful. Great, great, great. Okay. So now I'm going to well, okay, the next section is okay. Okay, wow, great, great, great. So let's continue with our next section. What is the most exciting trade you have ever made and what made it so memorable?
So I think the most exciting trade was during budget 2021. So we simply went. I think market went 6-7% higher, 5-6% higher. So we simply went long on future. So it was pretty exciting there, because return wise also it was almost 7-6-7% a day. So I would say it was totally out of plan. So because we were never trading future, we just took the chance. Then so somehow everything worked out in our favor, and it is very memorable because the returns were what we get in a quarter, we got in a single. So
Amazing.
that way it is.
So did
So
you did
it's
so after getting this, did you celebrate it that day?
yeah, yeah, we did definitely.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Okay. Okay, great, great, great. Okay. So, have you ever made a trade that went against your initial expectations but ended up being hugely profitable? If so, what happened?
Actually, to be honest, many times it has gone against me. But when it goes against me and when it comes in my favor, I quickly cut it, saying that, okay, let me not wait more. It has
Great.
right. So the thing is, like many times it happens. Like for example, let's say I start the day with a loss. I would be happy if I come to profit and I end in a small profit. But
Hmm.
when I start the day with a profit, I usually try to build on more and more
Okay.
onto it. So generally, to be honest, the big wins have come on the days when the trades have started in my favor.
Okay.
Right. So let's say I take a trade, it starts to go in my favor. That's when I am able to convert it into a big win. So
Hmm.
apart from that, when the things go against me, so I would be more happy to cut them as soon as they come in my favor and book small profits. So surely, it would have surely happened. There is no doubt about it. So some days, it would have completely gone against you, and you would be like, okay, it will come back. With some hope, you would have sat, and it would have totally. But I don't exactly remember that instance or the situation for that matter, when exactly that would have.
Completely, completely. I do agree. Okay, let's move on to our next question. How do you stay motivated and engaged in your trading even during the period of market stagnation or low volatility?
The thing is, so more than low volatility, I would change the question to our back for drawdowns, right?
Okay,
Because as I told you, in bull market, my performance is good. That means in
very
low
good.
volatility,
Yes.
I'm actually performing better than high volatility, right? So that is very hard to be honest, because if you continuously go into the phases where you are not making profit, right, you will lose confidence. You will start to lose
Hmm.
confidence. You will be scared to take the trade
Yes.
and all of that. So it is pretty hard to come out. It's just that you have to figure out. Market dynamics keeps changing, so you have to first try to figure out what is not working for you and try to stay away or not lose. Forget about making. Don't lose in the days when you can't. It's hard
Yes.
to trade, so you can easily make money in the days when you can trade. So, but obviously, there is always the addiction back of your mind, because if you're really passionate about trading, you want to trade every day. So this is where it really comes down to. So I'm not telling stay away from the market. When I myself can't do it, I can't advise anybody. You don't come to stay away from the market. So what I try to do is I want see end of the day I want to trade, and I know, for example, the current scenario. I know that this is not my forte. I will be suffering if I try to trade this. So I trade with very low quantity. So it should be like, okay, I am in the trade. If I make profit, I'll be very happy, because
Hmm.
I have made profit on a day or in the environment which doesn't suit me, which doesn't fit me well. So I can maximize. So the thing is, when things start to go in your favor, you can definitely maximize the returns
Yes.
at that
Hmm.
point in time, right?
Hmm.
So as long as you don't lose the money what you have made in the other point of time. So I would definitely say during this thing, just try to focus on building confidence by trading low quantity. So
Hmm.
when you trade low quantity, you will just get back your confidence. And
Yeah.
once the market dynamic changes, you can use the same confidence to boost your
Oh, that's great.
trade.
Wonderful answer. Wonderful answer. Okay, so well, the next question is very interesting, and I would love to hear the best answer from you. Okay, so have you ever taken a break from trading to pursue other interests, and how did this impact your performance when you returned to the market?
Actually, the answer is no. Like from when I'm trading from 2013, like I haven't really thought of anything else. Right?
Okay,
So anything else as my
so
profession
no
or
break,
anything.
right? You are
No
all
break.
into trading since then.
Yes, yes.
Okay, that's great. So wonderful, wonderful. Good to hear that. Okay, so let's move on to our next question. How do you celebrate your trading success and what do you do to keep yourself energized and motivate for further trades?
The thing is, like, profitable trades themselves motivate the traders to come and trade more, right? Um, but how do I celebrate my trading success? Like, see, there are two things. One, like, so I don't consider myself to be very successful yet, because what we have done is on a fairly small amount of capital, and it has not, we aren't even profitable for more than a decade. So if I have to proudly call myself a successful trader, I would like to give it at least a decade and prove that, okay, across ups and downs,
Hmm.
we have been able to hold on to the market and make profit. So at that point, I would really consider myself, okay, I'm a successful trader because I have survived for decade plus making consistent profit. So like, that's why there is the point doesn't come. How do I celebrate the success? Point doesn't it?
Okay, that's wonderful. Great, good to hear that. Okay, so let's move on to our next question. Can you discuss any instance where the use of leverage in trading has led to negative outcomes for individuals or market as a whole?
So the thing is, okay, for market as a whole, definitely use of leverage is negative. Let me simply tell you why. The reason is, see, end of the day, it's a zero-sum game, right?
That's true.
And if only both of us are participants, my loss will be your profit, or your profit will
Yes,
be my loss,
my loss.
right? So when this is the scenario, if there are 40 lakh plus 45 lakh close to traders who have actively traded in the last year, so majority chunk of this 45 lakh money, this entire, so you can call this all the money put in by this 45 lakh as a pot. So you have put money in the pot, right? So when you have put money in the pot, it has to just get distributed among the participants. So it cannot go anywhere outside. So amongst the 45 lakh participants, let's say you have put in like 1 crore capital, you have paid in, I have paid in 1. So there will be lakhs and crores of capital pooled into a single pot, and that
Mhm.
has to get distributed among the people who are in this thing. So now every time you want to distribute this, so government is trying to take some, brokers are trying to take some. So your entire pot, let's say, is of 1 lakh crore. What actually gets distributed among people will be something like 80,000 crores. Remaining
Hmm.
20,000 crores will go to
Mhm.
brokerage, will go to this thing. So now you, with leverage, your trading volume automatically increases, right? So once your trading volume automatically increases, people end up trading simply. So they end up buying, they end up selling. So now you see this pot of 1 lakh crore. It by default it has reduced to 80,000 crores. With more trading, it will further come down to 70,000 crores. And now this 70,000 crore is going to get concentrated into hands of few people. So overall, the trading community has lost around 30,000 crores because of like extra leverage, higher trading volume, and all of those. So overall, the community has given it to the government or brokers and all of it.
Hmm.
And out of, so this is one negative aspect as a where the entire trading community suffers. Apart from that, leverage is a two-sided sword. So if you use it well, you can grow faster. Like for example, you can
Hmm.
take our case itself. Or if you use it bad, you can die equally fast. So that is something how
True.
you use it. But overall, trading community leverage is okay. Like I would say, to be honest, some amount of leverage is good, because uh, so the misuse or that extreme thing can happen with 30x, 40x. Maybe something like 2x, 3x is really healthy for the community as a whole. So
Hmm.
whoever can use it well will use it well. Person who cannot use it well will also not lose everything. If you give 40x and like market goes 1% against you, you are gone, like completely out.
True. True.
But the
Very
same
true.
thing won't happen with 2 or 3x.
Hmm. That's great. That's great. Okay, so now I have another interesting question based on the leverage. How have traders and investors adapted to these new restriction or bans on leverage, and what alternatives have emerged?
The thing is, I think one, how they have adapted or what they have done is, mostly people do hedging for benefit, margin benefit. So, like usually taking a single naked shot usually requires around 1.5 lakh capital. So when you hedge it, it will come down to as much as 30, 40,000. So straight away you will be getting 3.5 4x leverage. So this is one common practice which is seen out there, which traders do. They go for OTM, they simply buy the hedges trading at 3 rupees, 5 rupees, and use that to get some margin benefit.
That's great, great, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so now I have one more another interesting question to ask, which is what lessons can be learned from historical example of excessive leverage in trading, and how can those lessons be applied to the current regulatory environment?
So one thing you can definitely consider about the Nick Leeson example, which is the most iconic example. One more is a long-term capital management. So long-term capital, I would rather like to tell the example of long-term capital management. So the thing is, it is not that people over there were traders like you and me. So they were from MIT,
Mm,
Stanford, Harvard, and forget about all of those, right? So the theory what we use for options, that is Black-Scholes, he was on the board. The Black-Scholes, both of them were on the board of long-term capital management, who are known to tell how the option prices come in and all of that. They have made the whole theory on which they have got the this thing recognition also when they themselves failed in trading options
mm,
using leverage, right? So you can call it two things: either market does not work based on theory and all this is just
mm,
crap, or you can also call it that nobody can what nobody can think they are above the market, so nothing can actually crack the markets because end of the day it's human emotion. So there are ways like so there are examples in history where people have lost a lot using leverage. There has also been example like for example like how George Soros did with the Bank of England, right?
yes.
So he took excessive leverage to literally break the Bank of England. So
Mm,
there people have used it to like just magnify the returns. So
yes, yes.
it is used in both ways in history. So
Mhm.
it's just end of the day it's at what point you're going to stop or what
Yes.
exactly you're going to how exactly you're going to
Yeah.
use is what.
Yep, that's true. That's true. And from India, our late Sri Junjunwala sir.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, yes,
exactly.
yes.
So even during his initial days
Yes,
he
he has
took a lot of
used.
leverage.
Yep, 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 yep.
Yeah.
That's great, 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 great. Okay. Now, it's been really interesting to talking to you. Now, let's move on to our next few questions. Okay. How do you adjust your trading strategies in response to changes in volatility, and what indicators do you use to track those changes?
So strategy wise, I don't make much of a change, as I told you. But only one thing what I would change is surely with respect to the quantity and the position sizing. So if it is not in my zone, comfortable zone, I would reduce my position size. And if the market comes into the zone which
Your
I'm
favor.
comfortable, I would, yeah, favor, I would increase the or come back to normal. So this is how I usually
Wow. So
trade
very
between
sweet
this.
and simple.
Yeah, so strategy wise, I would more or less go with the same.
Great, great, great. Okay. So, can you discuss any specific techniques or tools you use to forecast changes in volatility and how accurate they have been in the past?
So I wouldn't actually it like so one is obviously VIX, which is a common thing, but VIX very little tells about. So okay, there is one more thing. So VIX is actually a factor determined by the option premium. So the thing is, so it's a two-way round. So depending on what is the bid ask spread between the option premiums, so that determines the VIX. And if VIX is high, you know that the option premiums are generally
True,
going to be
true.
right? So here, one thing what we would see, for example, if you we would go and look for patterns. So, for example, if you look from the last week Friday, right, over the day, throughout the day, we haven't seen any much of decay which is happening. So,
Hmm.
to be honest, yesterday whole day I held 39,000 shots started. Market traded around 39,000 itself till almost around 2 o'clock. And it's so surprising that I actually lost money with that. It sounds like impossible and absurd, but it is true, right? So premiums sometimes don't behave the
That's
same
true.
way as they do,
Yes.
right? But what we actually got to see is post 3 o'clock, the puts, the OTM calls didn't even go up, but puts decreased quite a lot. So, and then we just observed this pattern Monday and Friday also when we went back to the charts and we saw the option premiums. So today we thought, okay, intraday there is no need to trade because yesterday we have lost being right. So being right, if you are losing money, being wrong, you will definitely lose money. So there is no
Yeah.
second uh,
There is no second thought
thought
on
about
it.
it. Yeah. And yesterday market was coming around 39,000. We are losing more and more without understanding, okay, why, like, so there is okay, you can definitely say if you create a short straddle and market goes up, down, volatility increases, okay, that is going to increase the premiums. That is one point. But we created when the market was at 39,300 or something. Right. So when the market has moved almost 300 points in your favor, the volatility has gone up so much that even the delta move is not able to give you profit.
Hmm.
The whatever calls would have lost because of the delta, that is not able to give you enough money to actually like what do I say out the put premium increase, right? Here we might now slowly change the style till maybe the market starts behaving in some other way. So many times we have observed patterns after 3 o'clock, not just today. So there would be some period of time where the premiums would there would be huge amount of premium decay coming between after 3:15 to 3:30. So that way I would say like so small changes which we'll be adopting to the existing this thing.
Oh, that's great.
So
That's
it's not
wonderful.
not really with respect to the volatility. Okay, this is the volatility. I trade this volatility. I
Hmm.
don't trade this volatility. So
Great, great, great. Good to hear the logical answer from you. Okay, so now, now let's move on to some next section. How do you maintain discipline in your trading, and what techniques do you use to avoid emotional decision making?
so I think I already covered the aspect of the emotional decision making. That is to cut your losses small and not get which where your emotion doesn't really come into picture. So this is one thing with respect to emotional decision making. And what was the first part of the question?
How do you maintain discipline in your trading, and what techniques
Uh,
do
yeah,
you use?
yeah, so discipline, the thing is, see, what I would say is it's very natural for anybody to do something which is not, which you don't call it discipline, right? So even many times when I know that some things I shouldn't be doing, I still end up doing and I lose. But I think so the thing is, if you keep your loss small, you would have done something which makes you
Hmm.
lose. You know that you're going to lose, but somewhere you are not able to. You simply end up doing because so once you get a loss, immediately you realize, okay, you have done wrong, and you just move on. So it will put you back into place. So once you get the things wrong, so again maybe after 2 3 months you repeat the same mistake, you come back to place. But only thing is when you actually move out of your discipline, right, and market tries to put you back in place, make sure that you don't give up a lot to the market. The
Hmm.
cost of your mistake has to be very low. So
True.
if you end up giving up a lot, then there is no point. Then
Hmm.
it's very problematic to be indisciplined.
That's true. That's true. Very well answered. Okay. So now the next question is for you. Can you discuss any specific instance where you made a decision based on discipline and mindset that turned out to be highly profitable?
Most of the this thing I would say like so no no need of a specific instance. A lot of times uh, we are pretty disciplined with our approach of whatever we do. All right. Sometimes we try to be a little indisciplined, and it works in our favor. Sometimes it doesn't. So you do it till the day it works, and the day it stops working, you come back to what you did it. But the first part of the question, most of the days we are disciplined, and we try to stick to our plan, and that's what has actually brought us forward, I feel.
That's great. Very well answered. Okay. So, can you discuss any specific techniques or approaches you use to evaluate your trading performance and make adjustments to improve your discipline and mindset?
The thing is, one, as I told you, is to create the zone around yourself. Right. So the thing is, if I, instead of a short straddle, if I do ratio, and even if the market behaves the same way, I might react differently. So I might do some adjustment which is not required. So my reaction to the same market will be totally different if I use some other strategy, right? I believe that if you try the same strategy multiple, like if you stick, so I wouldn't say you have to only stick to one strategy. I would
Yeah.
try to say that you, instead of having 100 strategies, try to see what is working for you in what kind of market and stick to those. Right? It might be three or four strategies or five strategies which is going to help you almost trade in all the markets. Just stick to those three or four strategies. So build upon those strategies, like create a forte around you with respect to those strategies, because end of the day, I told like as I already told, trading is a zero sum game, right? It's a well known fact. So when it's a zero sum game, if I am doing short straddle, right, and you are doing long straddle, my money is essentially coming to you, or your money is
Yeah.
going to come to me, right? So at this point, all that matters is who is more disciplined, who is more, if, right. So there might be a point where I am in loss. I don't cut my trades. Like if I have strong conviction, and the market comes back, I might end up making profit with my short strategy. That means you will be losing with your long strategy.
True.
So, so this is like similarly. Let's say you go to profit, and you don't book, and again when it comes back, you are going to go to loss. I am going to come. So the thing is, you build around a forte. So anybody who is coming to your forte, out from outside trade to trade the strategy opposite to you, you can easily snatch the money from him.
Hmm, that's great. Very well answered. Okay. So now, now we are in the last segment and a few more questions left. So let's continue with that. Okay. So what techniques do you use to manage fear and anxiety in options trading, and how do you keep those emotions from affecting your decision making?
That's what technique wise, I think since I mentioned already, that is see, if you take away 1 rupee from a person having 1,000 rupees, he wouldn't mind that much. But if
Yes.
you actually end up taking 1 rupee from a person who only has 1 rupee, he will get fully like, okay, 1 rupee is a different example. Let's say you have 1 crore in your bank, and I snatch a 1,000 rupee note from you. It is going to, and I run away. So you will be like, okay, let him go. Like I won't bother running behind him to get that 1,000 rupees back. I
That's
still have
true.
1 crore in my bank. But if you say you have hard earned 5,000 rupees or 3,000 rupees, I snatch 1,000 and start running.
Oh,
So you will actually come running behind me, because for you that 1,000 is very important.
yes.
It's hard
Very
earned.
true.
Even though 1 crore is hard earned for you, at that point you feel okay. It's not worth fighting for that 1,000 rupees and running behind him. I will rather do my work properly. I'm going to earn more than that. But if you're having 3,000, and you will definitely start running behind him to snatch that back, right? So I feel this is a small difference. So if you have 1 crore and you give away market 1,000, you don't run behind market with terms of revenge trading or to
Yes.
get it. So if you let market take away 50 lakh from you, so now you want it back. You can't let the market take away so much.
That's true. Very well answered. And I'm really impressed. Very good. Very good. Okay. So the next question. How do you approach option trading in highly volatile market, and what psychological techniques do you use to stay calm and focused?
So as I told you, our performance is really bad during bear markets. So it has not been. So I wouldn't say bad. It is bad with. So again here we haven't lost money, but we still haven't made money the way we do in
Yes.
bull markets. So this whole quarter we are up by almost around 6%. But generally we try to make somewhere around 9 to 12% a quarter. So that way we are lagging quite behind quite a lot, so half of what we usually do. But again, so these markets I try to make sure that I don't lose my confidence even though I lose my money. So that's why even though so only thing that prevents me, because the probability of the trades we take where we end up making profit is quite less in such markets. And I try to make sure that I focus on make I mainly focus on making sure that the position is less, so that even if I lose, my confidence is not affected. So tomorrow I shouldn't be scared to take a trade. What if I lose? That my thing
Yes.
shouldn't come to my. So if I take a new trade and what if I start losing? So that I
Hmm.
don't want that fear to come anytime.
That's true. Very well answered. Very well answered. Okay. So now let's move on to our next question. Can you discuss any instance where you had to manage complex options trade involving multiple positions, and how you maintained discipline and focus throughout?
No, actually, there have been quite a lot of instances where we have done that before in the past. But when that happened, so the second part of your question was not being able to follow, right? So
Okay.
when so many things came up, we weren't able to stay disciplined, we weren't able to stay calm, we
Hmm.
weren't able to stay focused, right? How do we do that? I still haven't cracked it. So that's the reason I just avoid it, right? So at this point, we don't have, at any point in time, we won't have more than two positions at once open. So one will be the call leg, one will be the put leg. And even if we are changing the call leg, we will exit one and only enter another. So at any point in time, right now, we make sure that we only have two positions, which becomes easy to manage.
Okay, that's great. So you have actually decoded everything. Wonderful,
Yeah,
wonderful.
I would
Okay.
say we have found a solution which for a problem which we couldn't crack.
Yes.
Uh,
And actually, that I would say that is the first step for every trader to find out the solution for the problem what you are having it.
yeah, so if I can't solve it in a way, it's a better way. So I
Hmm.
have to find alternative
Yes.
to that.
Yes. True.
If position is confusing me, if I'm not able to maintain
Hmm.
discipline, so then I would rather go with having lower positions than trying
Hmm.
to figure out how I can fix my
No, no,
mindset
wonderful,
with
wonderful,
lower.
wonderful, wonderful. Well, I would say, well, I'm really loving it, loving it. Okay, so here goes now. Second last question. How do you maintain a growth mindset in options trading, and what techniques do you use to continuously learning and improving your skills?
So growth mindset is like the thing is we would so the thing one thing is all of us, whether be it investors or traders, believe in the concept of compounding. So I would consider a trader, or I would judge the trader based on his quarterly performance rather than his monthly performance or daily
Hmm.
performance. So the thing is, how I maintain is whoever has trusted me and given money to us, right? So they should, after a quarter, they should be in a better off place than where they were
Yes.
in the previous quarter.
Hmm.
Otherwise, only then they will be making progress. If they make progress, we will be making
You
progress. They
making
will be giving.
progress.
So
Yes.
we keep this in mind. So that will help us put a lot of things into perspective with regards to our trading also. Because I know that if I take more risk and go to negative, then I'll be putting the person well below where he was in the previous quarter. That is
Hmm.
not something which we want to. Let him progress by 2%, let him progress by 10% in a quarter. At least he has to make some progress in the quarter.
Hmm.
So this will help us put things into better perspective.
Wow, that's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So finally, when I'm done with my question, but yes, the last question for you. Well, it's been you. First of all, like I really thank you for giving me so impressive answer. I'm really impressed by your answers, and I'm really truly thank to God and thank to Anil sir that like he told me that you were the right person, and then I prosed you, and finally you've accepted. So I really thank you, Saket, that you have
Thank you
accepted
so
my
much.
invitation, and
Thank you.
really
It's
you have
my
given a
pleasure
lot of
to be
more
on.
information. So the last question to you. Okay, so like I think this is the first time where I'm asking where you have attended and you have listened this question. So I just wanted to know any feedback for the questions which I like wait portray to you. Do you like the question or you want
So
me to change something?
yeah, so my the honest answer would be so to be honest, like I have attended like so many of the talks and interview. So I think you try to touch upon the important aspects because many people what happens is most likely I will tell you where it goes. So so they try to curate the content based on the market need.
Hmm.
So, what do I say by market need? So, if somebody gives a strategy, if somebody tells something, so it's more likely that people will go and watch that. When I say easy strategy to make money, most people who are actually losing money would want to come and watch that, right? So, it's more than the strategy here. What we like focused on is most likely the important aspects of the
Yes.
trading, which
Yes,
is
that's true.
more than strategy, right? So this is what actually makes the difference. So no matter which strategy I give you, end of the day, the execution is what makes the difference.
Yes. Yes,
And
that's true.
so and the main thing for the execution is to have the right state of mind, right?
Hmm.
And most of the questions what you asked was regarding revolving around having the right state of mind.
Yes.
So I feel this is what is necessary to give for the trading community. And to be honest, out of the things what I have attended, the questions were fairly unique and different. So I had never answered some questions.
Thank you very much for kind appreciation and for your feedback. Definitely, I'm looking forward, and definitely, I will put more efforts to it, and definitely, I will try to generate this kind of question because I do believe, like strategies. There are multiple strategies, but before that, there are the psychological aspect, mindset, discipline, risk management. People has to understand this because like I'm getting few comments. Sir, you have talked about everything, but there is no strategy. I said, dude, strategies comes next. Before there are a lot of things. First, try to understand that. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's been really lovely talking to you, Saket. Well, thank you very much
Thank you
once
so much.
again, and definitely, please be in my touch. Definitely, we'll bring something new, and we will add on to our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.